Okay, let's dive in. Today, we're tackling something that really feels like a key part of sounding fluent in English. Getting scheduling right.
Absolutely.
You know, the dates, the times, making appointments. It's more than just grammar, isn't it? It's about those little rules, the social cues almost.
That's spot on. It's about knowing how to talk about when things happen, how to actually tell time accurately, and then, handling those basic appointment dialogues politely.
Get scheduling right, and you sound confident, like you know what you're doing.
Exactly. And that's the goal today, really, to give you, our listeners, a kind of practical shortcut. We want you to feel well-informed, able to handle these conversations clearly.
So it's not just reciting rules, but understanding why they work, maybe even the exceptions.
Precisely. By the end of this, you should feel much more comfortable navigating, say, rescheduling something, or even just setting up a coffee meeting.
Right, so we've got 3 main areas mapped out.
Yep. 3 parts. First up, the real foundation. Those little words, the prepositions for time. We're really going deep on versus in, why those matter so much.
Okay, the on versus in battle. Got it.
Then second, we'll look at the clock, how we actually tell time in English. There are kind of 2 main ways people do it, the simple way and the more traditional way.
The digital versus the quarter past stuff.
Exactly, and knowing how to switch between them.
And finally,
Part 3 is putting it all together. Application, making arrangements, setting appointments. We'll look at some real dialogue examples, informal chats, maybe something a bit more formal too.
sounds like a plan.
What?
Let's get into it. Okay,
Yeah.
Section 1, the foundation, as you said, prepositions, specifically on and in when we talk about time. This is where things can get a bit fuzzy sometimes, right?
They really can. It seems simple, but choosing the wrong one is a really common slip-up. It's all about how we specify days, months, years in English.
It's about granularity you mentioned earlier, like how specific we're being.
Exactly that. Think of it this way. The preposition signals the size or maybe the duration of the time period you're talking about. On and in act like markers for that.
Huh. Never thought of them as magnitude indicators before. Okay, so let's break down on. When do we use on?
Right. So on pins things down. It's used for specific points or like single units on the calendar. Think days and specific dates.
Okay, days, like I go shopping on Sundays.
Perfect example. It locks onto that specific day of the week. It also works for holidays if you mean the actual day, like we open presents on Christmas Day.
Right, the day itself.
And specific dates, crucially. Even if you mention the month, if the day number is there, you need on.
So you'd go on holiday in July, but the flight leaves on July 15th.
Precisely. The date makes it specific. So the ones to really remember are things like on Monday, on March 20th.
What about on the weekend? I hear that a lot.
Yes, that's very common, especially in American English. Let's meet on the weekend, but this is where it gets interesting.
Uh-oh, an exception?
Well, a regional difference. In British English, you'll often hear at the weekend. Let's meet at the weekend.
Oh, okay. Good to know.
Yeah.
So on the weekend or at the weekend, both are okay depending on where you are.
Exactly. Just be aware of it. Don't let at the weekend throw you if you hear it.
Right. Good tip. Okay, so that's on for specific days and dates. Now, in, this is for the bigger picture stuff.
Yeah. In is when you zoom out. Longer periods, months, years, seasons, decades, that kind of thing. The focus shifts from a specific point to a duration or a container of time.
So if you take the date away, just the month, it becomes in, like the exam is in December.
Perfect. Or in April. You're talking about the whole month as a period. Same for seasons. We usually ski in the winter.
Makes sense. And years are definitely in. She was born in 1999. Or, looking ahead, the project finishes in 2026.
Right. Years are big containers of time. So nailing this on versus in thing, it really does make a difference. It signals you understand how English structures time.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Saying I'll see you on August just sounds off.
Oh, it does, because August is a duration. You'd need to say in August or specify the date on August 5th.
Okay. But wait, what about at? We just mentioned at the weekend for British English. But where else does at fit in? It feels like the odd one out.
It kind of is. At is mostly reserved for very specific points in time, usually clock times. Let's meet at 5 o'clock or at noon, at midnight.
Okay, clock times. But there's another one, isn't there? The weird one.
Ah, yes, the exception that proves the rule, maybe. At night.
Right. Why at night? We say in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening.
Okay.
But then at night.
It's a linguistic quirk. The thinking is, historically, night was seen less as a duration and more as a specific condition or point in time, the absence of daylight. Morning and afternoon feel more like periods you move through.
Huh. So night is like a specific state you're at rather than a period you're in.
Something like that. It's one you just kind of have to memorize, unfortunately. But knowing it's unique helps it stick.
Okay, at night. Got it. So we've got on for days, dates, in for months, years, seasons, and at for clock times and night. That feels like a solid foundation.
It really is. Get these right, and you're already avoiding some of the most common mistakes. It clears the way for talking about the specific time on the clock.
All right, moving on. Section 2. Telling time. We know when in terms of the day or month. Now let's get down to the hour and minute. This is essential stuff for daily life, right? Meetings, travel.
Absolutely crucial. And English has this interesting duality, two main ways people state the time. Knowing both is really helpful because you'll hear both all the time.
Yeah, I've noticed that. There's the really straightforward way and then the other way with fractions.
Kind of. Let's call them method 1, the digital way, and method 2, the traditional way.
Okay, digital way first. That sounds easier.
It is. It's just reading the numbers. Clock says 4.25. You say it's 4:25. Simple as that. 8.50. It's 8:50.
Pretty clear. No confusion there. Good for timetables and stuff, I guess.
Exactly. Very precise. But, in conversation, it can sometimes sound a bit robotic, depending on the context. Which brings us to method 2, the traditional way.
Right. This is where the o'clocks and pasts and tas come in.
Precisely. It uses the hour like a landmark and describes the minutes in relation to it, often using quarters and halves. It feels more analog, maybe, more related to a clock face.
Okay, break it down for us. What are the key bits of vocabulary?
Well, the easiest is the exact hour. 5 o'clock, 11 by 0 is 11 o'clock. Straightforward.
Got it. A clock for the top of the hour.
Then for the first half of the hour, we talk about minutes past the hour. The main markers are the quarters. 15 minutes past is quarter past.
So 9.15 is quarter past 9?
You got it. Quarter of the hour has passed 9 o'clock.
Okay. And the half hour mark?
That's always half past. So 2.30 is half past 2. Again, pretty logical. Half the hour past 2.
Quarter past, half past. Okay, it changes, right, after half past.
This is the key shift. Once you go past the 30-minute mark, the traditional way stops counting minutes past the current hour and starts counting minutes to the next hour.
Okay, so it looks ahead.
Exactly. The most common marker here is quarter to. That's for 45 minutes past the hour. So 7.45 isn't 3/4 past 7 or anything like that. It's 7:45.
7:45. Because there are 15 minutes left until 8 o'clock.
Precisely. You're anticipating the next hour. This is fundamental to the traditional way. 10.45 is 11:45.
Okay, that 11:45 linking to the next hour is crucial.
It really is. And people often use this past and to logic for other minutes too, not just the quarters. Like 6.10 might be 10 past 6. But 6:50 would almost always be 10 to 7.
So first half of the hour you tend to say past, second half you tend to say to.
Generally, yes, in conversational English. It gives the time telling a certain rhythm. 10 past 6 flows nicely. 10 to 7 also flows. Saying 6:50 is fine, just maybe a little less conversational sometimes.
Okay, now a big potential problem here. Most of this is based on a 12-hour clock, right? 9:15 could be morning or night. How do we handle that?
Yes. The essential little letters AM and PM.
Right. Antemeridium and postmeridium, before midday and after midday.
Exactly. You pretty much have to use them if there's any ambiguity. Let's meet at 9 a.m. for coffee or 9 p.m. for dinner. You need to specify 9 a.m. or 9 p.m. unless the context makes it totally obvious.
Definitely. But what about noon and midnight? Those always feel a bit weird. Is 12 p.m. noon or midnight?
Technically, 12 p.m. is noon, the start of the postmeridium, and 12 a.m. is midnight, the start of the antemeridium, the beginning of the new day.
Okay, 12 p.m. noon, 12 a.m. midnight. Got it.
But honestly, that ambiguity around 12:00 is exactly why, for anything formal or international travel, legal stuff, serious scheduling people often rely on the 24-hour clock.
Military time, right? So 1 p.m. is 13:00, 5 p.m. is 17:00, etc.
Precis maniera tradizionale come sempre terise. Berkoe ke asho este endoshta pakme pak e perdorushe sadikur. Ajanukta tishpetuje aksa ajo ebere me parene je teme perdechmi da titli.
You generally don't speak it in casual chat. You would normally say, let's meet at 1400 hours.
Yeah, sounds a bit intense.
Right. But you absolutely need to be able to read it on a ticket or schedule and instantly know that 17 means 5 p.m. or 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
So it's about being bilingual in time. Fluent in both 12-hour conversational time and 24-hour written formal time.
That's a great way to put it. And, there's a social aspect, too. Using the traditional way, like saying it's about 5:45, can sound a bit more relaxed, more natural than just stating it's 5:45.
Interesting. So the way you tell a time can actually set the tone. More formal versus more casual.
I think so, subtly. It suggests you're comfortable speaking naturally within the flow of conversation, not just reading off a digital display. It's part of that relational aspect of language. That makes sense. It's not just about the information, but how you package it. Okay, this is a great preparation because now we need to actually use this time language to make plans.
Exactly. Let's move into the application, making those appointments.
Okay, section 3. Putting it all together. We know the prepositions. We'll nib a time. We can tell the time, digital or traditional, AM, PM. Now, how do we actually, make the arrangements, set up that meeting or appointment?
Right. This is where the rubber meets the road, so to speak. And the key thing here is that it's often a bit of a negotiation. It's not just stating a time, it's proposing, sometimes getting a no, and then finding an alternative. Politeness is really, really important here.
Okay, so politeness first. How do we even start? What are some good opening lines to suggest a meeting?
Well, there are a few standard ways, depending on how firm you want to be. You could test the waters with, can we meet at, followed by a specific time, like, can we meet at 3 p.m.?
Okay, that's checking one specific slot.
Or a bit broader, are you free on Thursday afternoon? That checks a whole period.
Right, leaves it more open.
And then there's the slightly more direct approach. Let's meet at, or let's meet on. For example, let's meet at 10 a.m. on Wednesday. This one kind of assumes agreement unless there's a problem.
Okay, are you free? Let's meet. Good starting points.
And a slightly more advanced, or maybe just softer way is to use tentative language, like, I was wondering if we could meet, or how about we aim for Tuesday around lunchtime? Using words like wondering, aim for, around, makes it less demanding, more flexible.
I like that. Tentative language makes it sound less like an order and more like a suggestion. Okay, let's walk through an example. The source had one about meeting on Saturday. Let's flesh that out a bit.
Sure. So person A starts using the right preposition. Hi, Ben. Are you free on Friday afternoon?
Okay, the initiation. Now, Ben can't make it. How does he say no politely and suggest something else?
Right. Polite refusal is key. Something like, oh, sorry, Friday afternoon doesn't work for me, I'm afraid. I've got another commitment then. How about Saturday morning instead?
Nice. Apology, brief reason, optional but good. Clear no, and an immediate counter-proposal. How about Saturday morning?
Exactly. Now, person A might find Saturday morning a bit vague, so the negotiation continues.
Right. So person A could say, Saturday morning could work. What time were you thinking? Or what time works best for you?
Good. Checking for specifics. And Ben could reply offering options, maybe using both time formats. Well, I could do 10 a.m. or maybe 10:30. Does either of those work?
Offering choices. Smart. Then person A confirms, bringing it all together.
Yes, perfect. Let's go with 10 a.m. on Saturday. I'll meet you at 10, using on for the day, at for the specific time.
And a simple closing, great, see you then. Or, sounds good, looking forward to it.
Exactly. That back and forth, the polite refusal and counteroffer, that's really typical of informal scheduling.
Okay, so we need a little toolkit of phrases for managing this stuff. Checking if someone's free, saying no nicely, suggesting alternatives.
Definitely. For checking availability, beyond are you free, you have, does 3 p.m. work for you? Or what time suits you best? Or what time shall we meet? Keeping it open.
And for the polite, no.
Always start with an apology or softener. I'm sorry, I can't make that time. Unfortunately, I'm busy then. That slot's actually already taken for me.
Good. Soften the blow.
And crucially, if you refuse, try to immediately offer an alternative or ask about their flexibility. I can't do Tuesday, but would Wednesday work? Or what other times are you free this week? It shows you still want to meet.
Right. Don't just say no and leave them hanging. And if things really aren't working out.
The key phrase is, okay, let's reschedule. Or maybe, shall we try to find a time next week instead? Proposing a reset.
Got it. And confirming is important too, right? Especially if the plan was made a while ago.
Absolutely. A quick email or message. Just wanted to confirm our meeting for Wednesday at 2 p.m. avoids misunderstandings or no-shows.
Okay, that covers informal chats pretty well. What about more formal situations, like booking a doctor's appointment or a business meeting? Does the language change much?
The structure is similar, but the tone is usually a bit more direct, maybe slightly less chatty. Let's take a doctor's office scenario.
Okay, so the patient calls. Hello, I'd like to make an appointment to see Dr. Evans, please. Direct request.
Right. And the receptionist checks availability, often quite specifically. Certainly. Are you free on Tuesday at 11 a.m.? Using on and at.
Now, if the patient can't make that time.
Again, polite refusal, but maybe suggest an alternative pattern. I'm afraid I have a meeting then. Is there anything available in the afternoon? Or perhaps on Wednesday? Using in for the general period, on for the alternative day.
Suggesting a broader time frame. Good.
And the receptionist might then offer a specific slot within that time frame. Let me see. Yes, we have an opening on Wednesday at 2:30 p.m. Would that work?
Making the vague specific again. And the patient confirms, yes, that's perfect. Thank you.
And the receptionist often closes by repeating the confirmed details clearly to lock it in. Okay, great. We have you down for Dr. Evans on Wednesday. Let's say that's the 20th at 2:30 p.m. We'll see you then.
That repetition is really helpful in formal settings. Avoids errors. Okay. What about recurring meetings? Scheduling something that happens every week or month.
Yes. That adds another layer. You need language for frequency, you might say. Let's set up a weekly call on Thursdays at 9 a.m. Or can we schedule a review meeting for the first Monday of every month at 2 p.m.?
Using every or specifying first Mondays, second Tuesday, etc.
Exactly. And this is where time zones often become critical, especially in business. You can't just say 9 a.m. if you're scheduling with people internationally.
Right, you have to add the time zone.
You absolutely must. So let's meet at 9 a.m. Eastern time. Or even better, clarify both ends. How about 9 a.m. EST? I believe that's 3 p.m. for you in Paris, right?
That level of detail prevents huge mistakes. So mastering scheduling isn't just on and quarter past, it's also time zones and recurring patterns.
It builds up. But looking across all these scenarios, informal and formal, the constant thread is that politeness, the softening language, the negotiation. Phrases like, would that be possible? Oh, I was wondering if. Sorry, but. They keep the process smooth and respectful.
Collaboration, not confrontation. Even when you're just trying to find 30 minutes on a calendar.
Exactly right. Hashtag tag V. Conclusion and final thoughts.
Okay, so wrapping up this deep dive, we've covered quite a bit of ground, moving from the basic building blocks right through to actual conversations.
We really have. It feels like we hit those 3 core areas we aimed for.
Yeah. First, nailing down when things happen, mastering that crucial difference between on for specific days and dates and in for those longer periods like months and years, and remembering the oddballs like at night and the regional at the weekend.
That foundational grammar. Then second, telling the time itself, understanding the simple digital way, just reading the numbers.
And that more expressive traditional way with o'clock, quarter past, half past, and crucially, quarter to looking ahead to the next hour. Plus handling AM, PM, and knowing when the 24-hour clock is needed.
Right. Translating between those systems. And third, we brought it all together in the application, actually making appointments. Focusing on the dialogue, the polite negotiation.
Using those key phrases for suggesting, checking, refusing politely, counter-offering, and confirming, both for informal chats and more formal settings.
Exactly, the whole package.
So for everyone listening, the next step is practice, right? Don't just nod along. Try using these phrases.
Please do. Ask a friend, are you free on Saturday at maybe 7:30? Answer the question, when's your birthday? Using on month day. Say the time using the traditional way next time someone asks.
Speaking it aloud really locks it in, doesn't it? Builds that muscle memory.
It really does. Confidence comes from using it.
Okay, so that leads us to our final thought, something to mull over.
Right. So we've broken down these rules, prepositions, time-telling, dialogue, structures. But the real fluency challenge is putting them all together, often under pressure, maybe with added complexity.
Like what?
Well, think about this. Imagine you need to formally reschedule a recurring international project meeting. You have to propose a new pattern, maybe the 3rd Thursday of every other month. You need the right prepositions on the day, maybe in the afternoon. You need to specify the time, including the correct time zone, and probably calculate it for attendees in, say, London, New York, and Singapore. And you need to do it politely. acknowledging the inconvenience.
Wow. Okay, yeah. That's juggling all the balls at once. Prepositions, time conversion, time zones, recurring patterns, and formal politeness.
Exactly. Can you handle that complexity smoothly and accurately? That's the next level. It's about getting so comfortable with these individual rules that they become automatic, subconscious almost.
Yes.
So you can focus on the why of the meeting, not the how of scheduling it.
Making the mechanics invisible so the communication can shine through. A great goal.
That's the aim. Practice helps get you there.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the nuts and bolts of scheduling in English.
Hope it was useful. Here's to your next smoothly scheduled appointment.